right, man, we're across the street from the famous Madison Square Garden here with the former undisputed middleweight champion of the world, Kelly Pavlik.
How you doing?
Actually, Kelly, before we get into, Lomachenko and everything, ESPN, they recently did a list of the greatest middleweights, I think it was since 1990, and you were in the top 10. How's that feel, man, to get recognized as one of the better middleweight champions in history?
Yeah, it's awesome, you know what I mean? It's a hell of a compliment, and, it was an honor to me, and I just went in, my career was, I went in and tried to win. That was it, you know what I mean? For me, it was like I never really thought about it till the end after I retired, but for the most part, I worried about one fight at a time, and whatever happened after happened, but yeah, it's pretty cool.
They used to say in history that, the heavyweight prize is the biggest prize, but for some reason, middleweight is number 2. It's the number 2 glamour prize in boxing. Is that what it felt like?
Yeah, you know what? I don't know either. I mean, a lot of big-time fighters fought at middleweight, and if you go back and think about it, it's right in the middle, man. It's right in the middle between, it separates all the weight classes. And so I think that's the reason why there's so much glam behind it.
Well, Bernard, I think, once said, you guys have the power of the big guys, but the speed and agility of the
guys. And that's exactly true. Yeah, that's the perfect way to put it. So,
who are your favorite middleweights all time?
I never really follow guys like that. Even lightweights, nobody ever looked up to. But, Sugar Ray Leonard's were great. Hagler was great. Monzon. I mean, the list goes on. I can't really tell you. I'm more so of just boxing overall. I enjoy it. So.
And just to close on, any middleweight talk, who's a guy maybe you've ever thought about in history where you said, me and him, that would have been fight of the year?
Definitely Triple G. Definitely. I think styles make fights, and with my style, and obviously the way I take a punch, you know what I mean? I think that would have been a great one. He's there to be hit, as we all seen. That'd be a good one. And of course, some of the guys that when I was fighting, the Arthur Abrahams, Felix Sturm, guys like that. So those are fights that I would have wanted to.
It's pretty loaded right now, right? With Charlo and Andre and Jacobs.
Yeah, they got a lot of smaller guys moving up. But Charlo's, to me, I haven't seen enough of them to really even put them in that area. But yeah, you got Triple G. Danny Jacobs is still doing his thing and beating guys. And, so there's just a lot of people coming up to that weight now that's making it interesting. And that's great. It's great for the sport, great for the weight division.
I said that was going to be it for Canelo, but for middleweight, but I got one more. Is Canelo, he's the champ, but is he the best fighter at middleweight? Who do you think's the best fighter?
I think right now, after going in and fighting a strong guy like Triple G, because I said before he went, I go, we'll find out. I didn't call or bet on the fight of who I thought was going to win. I said it was going to be an interesting fight, but let's see what he can do at that weight. I don't care if he walks around 180, 170, it's the weight that you fight at. He went up, fought a guy who hit very, very hard at middleweight, and he beat him. And in the first fight, I thought Canelo lost, but he still was a close enough fight for people to talk about. I think that he definitely can fight anybody at middleweight now. I think Danny Jacobs is probably going to be the best test for him too at middleweight because of his size. The only thing with Danny Jacobs is he laps sometimes in fights. He gets lazy. I think Danny Jacobs fights at his competition. He's very talented, but it just takes a lot for him to do that for 12 rounds straight. Right. And, I think that'll be tough against a guy like Canelo. So he'd have to bring his A game for that fight.
Because it seems like Jacobs is great one round and then the next round.
Exactly. He takes the breaks and it kind of gets lazy. But Danny Jacobs is a hell of a fighter. I mean, he's got the size, the speed, and I think that could be a hell of a test for Canelo, also at middleweight.
Do you know anything about Rocky Feldon? Does Canelo have a tough fight on his hand next week?
I don't think so. I don't think after just signing one of the biggest contracts in boxing with the AZN, and then a relatively unknown guy also in the boxing, in the ring of boxing, I don't think that'd be smart for him to go and put him in with somebody first fight like that.
The guy is a half foot taller than him though.
That's
like
right.
6'3".
They see something in him that they're not afraid that Canelo's going to take him out. So.